G'day everybody, it's Suffolk Graham here from Rand Nerds, and welcome to my review of episode 11 of Doctor Who Series 8, Dark Water. As always, there'll be some minor spoilers ahead, including actual quite a major spoiler of the first 5 minutes of the episode, so if you don't have anything ruined, turn off now. Dark Water starts off with quite an excellent start, where Danny Pink, my probably least favourite character of the season, gets killed off, gets hit by a car, as fitting with the theme of the season, with people going to heaven, he finds himself in heaven, or the promised land, or the afterlife that we've been seeing people ending up in throughout the rest of the season. Clara, distraught by this, decides to try and blackmail the Doctor into getting Danny Pink back and using his time machine to get Danny Pink back. So it starts with a relatively powerful opening, but what you find is that the first few minutes of it, the powerful beginning of it gets finished off relatively quickly. The threat that Clara has sort of diminishes quite rapidly into the whole affair. It all gets resolved so quickly then it's all for it'd be nice if it kept the dark theme running throughout with Clara and her attempt at blackmailing the Doctor. Would be nice if perhaps they kept it going. I think there could be an interesting dynamic going on there. But no, they decide to return to status quo and remove it. So they go hunting the Doctor. Now, they go hunting the Doctor. Of course, they don't go hunting for Danny Pink. Now, it's a very slow building episode. You get through a lot of the two parts. The first part is mainly background setting, and it's quite a slow burner. You get to the end of it, and nothing really major has happened. It's obviously setting up the background, so it gives more detail about what the heaven actually is, or the afterlife. It goes into what's been going on with all the people who've gone there. And unfortunately, if you watch last week's next week trailer, you can pretty much guess they've spoiled a major part of the episode. I'm sure you can guess what bit I'm referring to. It is just sad that they have unfortunately spoiled it all. But I thought it was an interesting, not so much twist, but an interesting take on it. What I could see the episode being a problem, that I could see how the subject matter is actually really dark. As you get into it, I was actually watching thinking, this is more the way they're discussing what's going on with the people. It's more worthy of actually what I consider like a Torchwood episode. And it was, I felt, very dark. And I could see it as being either very upsetting to some people, particularly people who've had Desperate recently, and I could also see it offending a lot of people, and I think they're actually treading some interesting ground here. There's certain things you can get away with, certain comments you can get away with saying, and not going to worry about offending too many people. But this one I could actually see offending quite a few people, getting quite a few complaints actually. So is it brave or do something a bit different? I could see it upsetting a lot of people. I think I'm worrying that it's going back down the being quite dark route. We seem to be losing a bit of the family friendly of Doctor Who and going more down the dark like we had in the 80s. I don't want Doctor Who to go that route. It's always meant to be a family program. It's that family program that keeps the people watching. It keeps the show going by having that focus. And when it went dark, it lost that. And that's what eventually I do honestly believe that when it went dark, it actually killed it off. So I'm hoping they tone things back a little bit, perhaps the next season, make it a bit more accessible to the kids. Because at the moment it feels a bit of a mismatch. It feels like they don't know quite where they're meant to be sitting. And this was a perfect example of that. It's just too dark for what type of program it is. So one of the main things about this episode, obviously we find out the truth about Missy. And I haven't watched really any of the theories. I don't know if anyone's actually called this. I know my sister had a theory similar along the lines of what actually happens, but again, I don't know if anyone else actually called this. I've not watched really any other fan speculation, if I'm honest. But I was surprised. Once I found out the first part of the truth about her, I made a guess of who she was, and that guess was wrong. Obviously, I wasn't about to say what I guess as well, because I'll spoil it too much. So it was actually quite interesting in a way. How my guess was wrong wasn't what I was expecting, but at the same time, it all makes a lot of sense. So interesting twist. quite a neat little trick. It's nice the fact they've brought an old character back. And that's about as far as I will go if there was an old character who's been brought back. So it's nice to see it again. Missy herself has been played by Michelle Gomez, and she's done a fantastic job throughout, I think, the whole episode and throughout the whole season. The way she plays, she's just got that she's done that awe of mystery to her, which has been excellent. We also get to see Chris Addison again, playing her sort of role of Seb, who's sort of like her assistant. And ironically, I found that he was very similar to his character in The Thick of It, minus the swearing, obviously. The way he played him, I do find Chris Addison tends to play the same character in every episode, but I think that's because he has the right personality to do it, to get away with it. So I think he's been typecast in a way, which happens. But he does it. But hey, he does it all right. Why not? What's the problem? Hey. So as we learnt from the last week's prequel, the main enemies is going to be the Cybermen. And that unfortunately ruins quite a big plot twist early on. It took about a few minutes of one of the main characters revealing the nature of, how can I do this without spoiling it, the nature of their tomb, as it were, and some of the properties of the tomb. And I tweeted, oh yeah, I know what that's going to be. I know how it links to the Cybermen now. It all makes sense now. I would have preferred it if they hadn't shown anything about the Cybermen, kept them out of it completely. Make it an absolute surprise that they're going to be in it. I mean, it's been done before. I mean, I honestly know what to drum up attention with it by bringing back the monsters and so forth. Great, that's lovely, it's fun. But why don't we sort of make not something about photo, but just make it an absolute surprise. People surprise us, give us a bit of a wow factor when we watch the episode. That would have been a lovely twist. I wouldn't have picked up on. I don't think I would have picked up on the plot twist if it wasn't the fact that I knew Cybermen were in it. So it's a real shame, actually. I think they've actually missed a trick here. And they've done it in the past. I mean, end of season 2 had the Daleks in it, which weren't revealed in the next of trailers. They kept that quiet, and so that's what they should. That's what they should have done. But I think it's going to be an interesting final. I haven't said it's not particularly gripped me. It hasn't made me think, oh, I can't wait till next week's final. But hopefully it'll turn up a bit nicer. Obviously, there's no preview trailer for next week because they do always keep the final episodes on the quiet. So I am looking forward to next week just to finish the series off and see what's going to happen. So overall, Dark Water has been it's an okay first part of a two-parter. As I said, I found some subject matter a bit dark and a bit perhaps a stone to some people. I thought that the revelations have been good, the guest stars have been good they've had in it, so overall it's been an okay episode. It's just not been as gripping as a finale as I thought it was going to be. But in hindsight, I think a lot of the finales I've seen have been a bit like that. I can only think of a few great first part finales I can think of. I'm trying to think one of them now off the top of my head. I have got a couple of favourite ones, but I don't really want to mention them because I might actually inadvertently reveal part about this episode by mentioning them. So I'll probably keep that to perhaps when I do my end of series review. But overall, an okay episode. Not been that greatest, unfortunately. Well, thank you both for watching. That's been my brief review of the episode. It's been a bit brief this week, but if you have any thoughts, let them post them in the comments. I would say, obviously, bear in mind people who might be watching this might not necessarily have seen the episode and might want to spoil it. So I would say perhaps try and keep any comments you put in a bit spoiler free, just for anyone who's hasn't watched it, so they can still look and read the comments and so forth. If you want to post, if anyone posts anything, obviously, of course. So while subscribe to the channel, share the video, join us. I'm part of the Rare Nerds group. We do live streams, let's plays. We do a few more let's plays in the future lined up. We do bi-weekly podcasts, which we then broadcast while we're recording it. You can actually watch our next one, which happens this Friday coming up. You can come join us on that live and you can chat to us, which would be great to see anyone here come watch us. That'd be fantastic. And subscribe to the channel to keep up with all the latest news. So once again, stuff around from my notes signing off. Thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next week on the final episode of my reviews. Thank you very much. Have a good night.